Thanks to your newfound power, new depths are made open to you. Challenge them, if you dare. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Twilight Princess HD, and welcome to the first of 3 bonus episodes. This is the Cave of Shadows to begin with. We're going to be doing the final few floors. We've already done the first 20 floors in previous runs of the Cave of Shadows. But I'm going to show them all off anyway, just in case you want to see the entirety of the Cave of Shadows all in one place, with quadruple damage even. That's my impressive feat for the day, is doing this with 4 times the damage. That is Hero Mode and the Ganondorf amiibo equipped. So yes, I've made it through to the end. I did use other amiibo along the way. I used Zelda and Sheik amiibo give full restores, and I don't think I've mentioned it before, but the Wolflink amiibo, if you use it while you're already in the Cave of Shadows, you will be restored by the number of hearts currently saved to that amiibo, which is your best Cave of Shadows run. In my case, it will be 12 hearts, which I can't remember when I did that run. It was probably on the previous save file. But yes, I'll be using all of the healing amiibo, and yeah, they'll all come into play eventually, because it does get really challenging later down the line. So what I've done here is if you can't already tell, this is post-commentary, but at the same time I would like to splice in some footage of previous attempts of this run in areas where I got particularly salty, because I was recording like live commentary for a lot of it, but at the end of the day, because I did so many attempts, I think I did 13 or 14 attempts getting through here, I don't think the commentary would flow that well, so I'm re-recording over the top of it all, just to give you some coherent commentary. But yeah, what you're watching right now is my successful run, my one and only successful run, which took me God knows how many hours. I know this successful run took me about 40 minutes, so that'll prove something, I guess. All my unsuccessful runs were only slightly shorter than that, I think. So yeah, and we made it back to the first checkpoint where the Cave of Shadows would end after the first time, with this small chest containing 20 rupees. I'm just going to shut it off again, just in case you're wondering what the reward is. Now on to the second set of floors, which become available after seeing Ganondorf scene in the mirror chamber, just after clearing Arbiter's grounds. And yeah, there's a few moments in these areas where I take like really small damage from these like insignificant enemies, bokoblins, and coming up in the next room is Keese. And yeah, it's just very annoying because all of this chip damage that I take adds up in the end. And yeah, it's not good being hit so early on, considering we're not even a quarter of the way through yet. So after playing through it quite a lot of times, I did start to develop like strategies for a lot of the rooms, and I did become kind of efficient at not taking damage, either during the first set of floors, or I have made it through to the end of the second set of floors without taking damage before, but not in this run, unfortunately, because this Baba Serpent right here snaps at me just as I'm targeting another one. And yeah, the Baba Serpents are kind of difficult to deal with, and I'm going to probably complain a little bit in this area. So I'm going to admit right now that after playing through the Cave of Shadows now, I'm seeing so many flaws in like the combat system, especially around Wolflink. I mean, you don't have to use Wolflink in the main game, but I feel like where the Cave of Shadows falters here is the whole combat thing. And Wolflink throws his whole body at enemies. That's his only way of attacking. But regular Link has a sword, so he can get out scot-free a lot of the time. So yeah, I'm going to complain a little bit about the combat system. There's like some weird jank stuff with the energy field, and sometimes when you lunge at enemies, Wolflink rips them apart on the ground if they're small enemies. Sometimes you'll still take damage regardless. There are particular enemies later on which cause massive amounts of salt in my veins. I'll get to them. It's only in the final set of floors that those enemies start appearing. So also, that camera is bugging out. The camera does sort of jitter around a little bit when using the energy field close to a wall. And yeah, in particular, fire-type enemies, like these torch slugs here, and later on we encounter some ice-type enemies. Ice enemies are pretty nasty to deal with as Wolf-Link, because if you're trapped in ice, you'll still take 2 hearts of damage for a little bit until you thaw out. And also, Tektites. There were some really salty attempts on these guys where I took like minuscule damage because my energy field just didn't hit them. If you use an energy field and your timing is slightly off, you'll miss the Tektite, and the Tektite will jump on you and do 2 hearts of damage, so that was some very annoying minor damage that happened in a few attempts, if I recall correctly. Hopping down, and here are the Bulblin Archers. Now I did develop a good strategy for dealing with this room, and that is to jump down slightly to the right, or I guess to the left as well, and target and alternate between the 2 of them while dodging the arrows from another one. And I was stupid here. I tried to use an energy field instead of doing a lunge. I was just testing it out, just for future attempts. There weren't any, luckily. But yeah, I just took damage regardless. I wanted to see if I could get an energy field and kill him in 1 hit, but no, 2 lunges is definitely safer. Most of the Cave of Shadows is safety, I guess. Safety and having patience, which I am lacking, apparently. Also, with the Bulblin Archers back there, they're less accurate when you're across the other side of the room, so that's why I say target 2 of them at a time and alternate between them, then you can focus on the one that's furthest away. And if you keep moving back and forth, they're not particularly accurate with their fire arrows, so you can be kind of efficient about dealing with them. It is still a big hassle with the whole long-range thing. Wolf-Link doesn't have any long-range options to deal with long-range enemies like the archers. So yeah, it's kind of unfair, really, that these guys have arrows and you can't do anything about it aside from get up close to them and risk your life, I suppose. And here we have more choo-choos. And this is also another place that green choo-choos can appear. I did get some footage of some in previous runs, not in this run unfortunately. I'll have to cut to a picture of the green choo-choo. But yes, it's when yellow and blue choo-choos collide, and they're only found in the Cave of Shadows and the Cave of Ordeals. And unfortunately in the Cave of Shadows you can't like scoop anything up, you have no access to bottles. I don't believe you can use fairies in the Cave of Shadows either. Like, Wolf-Link does have access to fairies in the main game, and if you have one bottled you can, of course. It will activate when you die as Wolf-Link for some weird reason. But that doesn't, I don't think that works in the Cave of Shadows. And I guess that's part of the challenge, really, is not having access to any items either. Aside from, you know, just being Wolf-Link in general, which is a trial in itself, to be honest. His attacks aren't particularly effective. I don't think his attacks are quite as strong as regular Link's. So yeah, that's something. And yeah, I've made it through. At this point, I think I'm clear for the first 20 floors, because we've reached the bubble room, and the bubble room is pretty simple, really. You can't like lunge out of the quicksand. You can use an energy field out of the quicksand, but you just can't like hit the A button to jump out. So yeah, keep that in mind. This is the only room in the Cave of Shadows with quicksand on the floor, which is kind of unusual. I don't believe you can sink in it like you did in Arbiter's Grounds. I think it just slows you down. It's not there to give you a out of bounds if you sink too far in. So yeah, I'm pretty much free at this point. The next 2 rooms after the bubble room are quite easy to deal with. With the Stalkin you just stand on one side, or you can even stand in the middle if you really want, and just use an energy field and you'll just plough through the horde. So for a lot of the enemies early on like this, there's always an easy way of dealing with them. It's just a case of finding it some of the times. Maybe not even an easy way, but an efficient way, I guess. And this room, even though it's 2 Re-Dead Knights, which are generally quite powerful and generally quite difficult to deal with, I think, when you're human Link, Wolf-Link doesn't struggle with these guys at all. Especially in this first scenario, because you can just lunge onto them twice and bite out their necks, which is incredibly efficient. Also, poison mites hop on and then they just explode when the door opens. So it's always funny to watch. I always sort of try to get as many poison mites on me as possible. But here we are, back at the, I think, 20th floor. which is the second set. Also, this is kind of proving a point here. The camera sort of jitters when Wolflink opens a big chest like this, and I don't believe Wolflink was supposed to ever be able to open the big blue chests. Even in the main game, if you approach a big chest as Wolflink, you'll transform back into regular Link when trying to open it. So yeah, that's the only scenario, I believe, where Wolflink can open a big chest, although there might be some early on in the game where you can't transform between Wolflink and Human Link just by pressing a button, in which case I don't really know what would happen if you encountered a big chest in that scenario. I think there might be some big chests in hidden grottos, so that might be the kind of place to look. I probably should research this, but at the same time it's not just so insignificant. It's like, who cares who can open big chests and who can't? So yeah, that was the first floor of the final set of floors, Skullchillers and Dekubabas. And here we have, once again, Helmsaws, but also joined by Ghoul Rats. And the Ghoul Rats do slow you down enough that you can't really run away from the Helmsaws in time. You need to be vigilant in shaking off the Ghoul Rats, otherwise you're just going to be too slow and you won't be able to run away from the Helmsaws and get around there. A little charge attack. Or you can just run up behind them and strike them in the rear. That works. That's the general strategy of dealing with them. However, I do believe that it is the next floor that caused me an awful lot of problems. So we've got a whole bunch of enemies right in the middle of the floor. Got some Helmless Alphas and some Bokoblins. Some red Bokoblins this time, which take two like energy field attacks to deal with. You just dive between them. But you can also see that there are some things approaching from the side of the room. And yes, Armos. Armos are the bane of my existence. I have lost many a run to Armos. And here's where I'm going to complain about the combat. Because the camera, the way it's positioned, sometimes it sort of shifts around a bit when the enemy changes position. Like when he's in front of the camera or behind it, the camera will try and like auto-focus on it. So when they sort of start swinging their hammer about wildly, I found like the best way of avoiding that is to backflip away. But because the lock-on camera doesn't like keep your positioning in terms of which direction you're holding, you'll sometimes I've actually ended up like doing a proper lunge into the hammer swing, which is of course not what you want to do because that just damages you. And yeah, the timing is very strict to get away from their little flurry. In fact, I think I get hit during the last Armos, which is kind of unfortunate. But yes, these guys are an absolute pain if you don't have like a shield or anything, or any way of getting behind them really quickly. So I don't lock on to begin with, because that allows me to strafe around them faster. You might be wondering why I'm not locking on. So yeah, that room was a bit of a pain for me. It's not only the enemies to begin with in the room, which they spot you as soon as you jump down, start charging towards you. But yeah, it's the Armos on the outskirts of the room. However, you can like stand in like the centre of the room, and the Armos actually have like a radius where they won't attack you. And if you stand in the middle of the room, the Armos will just hop back to their original positions. So yeah, that's the way of not dealing with too many Armos at a time. Best deal with only one at a time, really. And once again, Red Knights. This time there are 4 of them, and the only damage I take in this room is from a Dekubaba. So what's sort of annoying with the Red Knights is that when you jump onto them, you latch onto their backs, regardless of which way they're facing. And when you're done like attacking them, Wolflink gets propelled away from them, and that can like launch you to the side of the room in this case. It's kind of like an annoying shaped arena with all these Dekubabas around the perimeter of the room. And they're always active, and they'll just snap at you if you approach them. But yeah, try and lure the Redeads away from the edge of the arena. I did find that you can like sort of mash out, well not even mash out. There is a little window of opportunity when you stop being stunned by their scream. That you can, if you're mashing the A button, Wolflink will lunge out of it, and you can like attack them even though you've just been stunned. However, that doesn't stop you from being hit by other Re-Dead Knights. If there are too many Re-Dead Knights in close proximity and they swing their sword at you, they can hit you like while you're mounted on another Re-Dead Knight. So that's the thing. In fact, that applies to a lot of enemies that you can latch onto and start mauling them. But yeah, just be aware of other enemies around you before you decide to jump onto an enemy. And moving on to the next room, it is an entirely fire-based room. All the enemies are fire-based, and unlike the previous room with the dongos in, there are lava spouts all around the room here, which proved to be a bit of a pain, I think. And those lava spouts are kind of dangerous. In fact, I think they do a dick move and put a torch slug inside one of them. So yeah, that's the thing that is rather annoying to deal with. And also, here's where I start to get a little bit annoyed with the targeting system. It doesn't appear to target what's closest to you. I feel like there's some kind of enemy priority to which enemies the game decides to target and which ones it doesn't. So that will actually come into play more in the ice rooms, but for now it targets, I think, the fire keys more so than torch slugs, even if there was a torch slug like right in front of your face. It doesn't do a very good job of detecting your intentions of which enemy you want to target, which is very annoying in later rooms especially. And yeah, here's the lava spouts coming into play, where I use the energy field and Wolf Link dive straight into it. I guess that is like human error, really. Like, maybe I could have lined up a bit better or timed it so that the lava spouts were down. And also I use my Wolf Link amiibo here, which is a 12 heart heal, which is my best run. I can't remember which run that was. Okay, the next room after that one though is kind of easy. Just turn on your sense as soon as you jump down, because there are a bunch of ghoul rats running around. This is just common enemies, really. It's bokoblins, keys, and ghoul rats. And once again, I do take a little bit of annoying damage from a keith just diving into me. Shameful to admit, I did actually lose one of my runs to a keith. I was only at 2 hearts, and yeah, it just swooped in and got me. So yeah, it's a bit annoying when that happened. Okay, but after all the common enemies are down, we can move on to the next floor, and it is once again Re-Dead Knights, which I think this is the last appearance in the Cave of Shadows. They appear 3 times. And that's the end of it. However, they are joined by Boblin Archers. And I got really peeved off with what happened here. I was trying to run away from the Re-Dead swing and I ran into the wall. And because I was doing like a dash attack, Wolf Link sort of bounced off the wall into the Re-Dead's howl. And also, because I was stunned for so long by the Re-Dead, I got shot from across the room by one of the archers. So yeah, that was something. But the strategy is a little bit different than the previous set of Boblin Archers. You want to target one of them first and sort of keep moving around so that you can't get hit by the arrows from the other one. And once one of them's dealt with, you can move across to the other side of the room. I'd say definitely prioritise defeating the archers over the Re-Dead Knights, because when you're latched onto their back and gnawing at them, you are vulnerable to fire arrows. And even though they're only 2 hearts of damage, it's still very annoying to get hit by them. I think I got very pissed off that in my original run. And here we have our first ice room. This one's not so bad, but it is a little bit iffy in some runs, I think. So here we have White Wolfos, which didn't actually appear in the Cave of Ordeals. There are a couple of enemies in the Cave of Shadows that are unique to the Cave of Shadows. They weren't in the other cave. So yeah, I guess that says something about the entire enemy variety in the game, that they can add enemies to one optional cave that weren't in another cave of optional enemies. So yeah, and here we have another chew room. This time they're joined by ghoul rats. Strategy is just hold the target button and mash the A button to keep lunging between them, changing targets. Another annoying thing about the targeting system, especially around ghoul rats, is that while some things die instantly and you'll instantly change target, like the chews, the ghoul rats seem to linger around for a bit after you hit them, and your target remains on them. So yeah, there are times where I jump towards nothing because I'm mashing the A button so much. But yeah, that's another thing that happens. You end up locking onto an enemy even though you've already killed it. So it's a a bit annoying. Not too much of a hassle in this room, and then you have to wait for the Chujo to despawn. Speaking of enemy variety, there are a couple of enemies that I thought about during one of my runs that I thought would be interesting to bring up. And that's the two shadow beasts that accompany Zant. And that's during the initial cutscene with Xantin, where he raids Hyrule Castle. And yeah, those shadow beasts with like the big metal masks don't ever appear again, which is a bit weird. It would have been interesting to see another type of shadow beast, like a more advanced version, I guess, which either did more damage or took more damage or had some interesting attacks. But no, you just never see them again after that point. And here we have the major ice room problem. And it's not just because the floor is slippery, which is a major problem as well, to be honest. And there's one chill foss at the back of the room which I need to be careful of. There's some weird targeting going on. When there's like a Freezard right in front of you, if you try and lock onto it, for some strange reason it decides to target a Keese off in the distance. So yeah, this is a case of Keese, like, taking priority over what needs to be targeted. And there are some occasions where, even though you're locked on to a Keese, if it flies too far away you'll lose your target on it. Which is a bit strange because with some enemies you can like constantly lock onto them despite how far away they are. But not Keese, even though they're like flying enemies, which would be very convenient to keep locked onto. Oh, there's a prime example of a Freezard being right in front of my face and it targeting a Keese. That's the kind of thing that really got me going in this run. It's not the best, the targeting system. I still don't think they've perfected it. But yeah, that's just unfortunate. And the slippery floor didn't really help too much in this scenario. So with the mini Freezards, they take like 3 lunges to kill. And if you do keep locked onto them, you can like lunge over and over and over again and chase them down. But if you miss a mini Freezard just barely by lunging just in front of their face, and you'll slide into them on the slippery floor. I don't feel like there would have been a problem in other areas, but yeah, it's just the slippery floor areas where if you try and jump towards mini Freezard and a little bit short, you'll end up taking damage anyway. I guess that applies to a few types of enemies. Fire enemies as well will probably do that, like Torch Slugs. I think I actually got killed by a Torch Slug because I did a jump attack, but I was like a little bit too short, and it just it burnt me. So that was quite annoying as well. And it's one annoying room after another, because here we have another Armos room. And it might just look immediately like just Armos, but if you have a look at the minimap, you'll see something kind of unique to this floor. And behind each of these Armos is a stone door, which I believe is tied to each of the Armos. But you can sort of get close to the Armos, activate it, and then back away, and it won't open the door. I think it's supposed to, but if you're very sneaky, you can like back away in time. However, after defeating the Armos, the door opens anyway, so I guess that's just a little cheating preventative measure. And behind door number 1, the door on the left, is Baby Gomers, which are kind of annoying to deal with as well as Wolflink, because you're throwing your whole body at them. And the main problem with these guys is that their bodies just hurt you if you touch them, which is different than other small enemies like rats and Keese, which actually have to attack you. No, those Baby Gomers always have an active hitbox, so you'll always take damage if they even brush against you, you'll take damage. And also, I feel like the energy field doesn't work half the time on them, so I choose to do lunge attacks. I think it's safer. So it's the case in this room of luring Armos away from their respective doors so that you're not opening them and having to deal with a bunch of small enemies. It's kind of tedious to like keep moving. They're very slow. They take a long time to come across the other side of the room. But once again, this is a case of being safe rather than just trying to get everything done quickly. Patience, my friend. Patience is a virtue. And behind door number 2 are 3 rats and also 3 Keese, but the Keese are like hanging on the ceiling inside of the room, and they won't activate until you get close to them, so I'm just going to run and activate the other Armos beforehand. And I might speed this up a bit because it is kind of boring watching me deal with Armos. I don't remember if I took damage from these 4. I wouldn't be surprised if I did, because, you know, the Armos, the hardest enemy to deal with as Wolflink, most likely. And I really can't remember. I might have taken damage from one of the smaller enemies actually, which is quite frustrating. And behind the door on the right are 5 more baby Gomas. Once again, I'm going to show what happens with the energy field. Yep, sometimes you just flat out miss them, and sometimes I think I've actually taken damage from that, which is very stupid. I might show some runs where I got a bit salty with those guys. I did notice in previous runs that there is a dig patch in between doors 2 and 3. I didn't actually dig it up because by the time I was finished with the room I was like, you know, I'm done, I'm moving on, and I just completely forgot about it. But it's just something that I noticed there is a dig patch just in this room. Not sure what it contains. I'd imagine maybe hearts if you're not playing on hero mode, or possibly just a big amount of rupees. I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't too fussed to check, but just so you know, there is a dig patch there, so you can check it out for yourself. It's kind of weird here. I can hear like bokoblins. They've got a distinct cry, and I can hear them like through the wall, which is very weird. I don't recall ever seeing that in like a previous floor of Cave of Shadows, like hearing an enemy that's coming up. I'm not imagining things right. You can just barely hear it, right? And behind door number 3 are 6 more rats and 3 keys, and also I take damage there. Very stupid small damage, which is unfortunate. And I can safely move over to the final 3 keys in the previous door number 2 without activating them. Use the energy field on them. Easy enough. I just took some silly little damage there. Okay, now as I mentioned, there are bokoblins in this room, as well as Alphos, but there's also our first Dynalphos. You might be thinking, oh god, Dynalphos, how do you deal with this as Wolflink? And they're actually fine to deal with as Wolflink. I've mentioned before, but they've got this vulnerable head to them. They have got a big shield that blocks a lot of lunge attacks, but if you space it well enough, I found that if you backflip away and then lunge into them, you'll latch onto them and start mauling at them, and it takes like 4 hits like that. But yeah, they're very simple to deal with if you space it correctly. Just jump away and then jump in, and you'll latch on and then do that 4 times and they're dead. Okay, on to the next room, and it's once again ice floor. But this time there are no like ice walls, which is kind of a blessing to be honest, because the ice walls only got in the way before, and if you touch them you freeze. So yeah, they're just another hazard, so it's good to get rid of them. However, we don't have any cover from the Chillfoss anymore. We can stand behind the ice walls to sort of avoid being hit by their spears, even though the Chillfoss spears only do like 2 hearts of damage. And there is a case of me doing a lunge attack and still getting frozen in the process. Really don't understand why that happens sometimes. And I noticed an opportunity here where the 2 Chillfoss are right next to each other, so I just go for it, honestly. But then I accidentally target the freeze art afterwards, so that's great. That's not the target I wanted, game. But yes, they only take a few lunge attacks to kill Chillfoss. I don't find them too threatening, to be honest. It's only the small enemies in this room that really, in particular the mini freezards, which really get me going. Because you take 2 damage once you get frozen, but when you're frozen you'd like take residual damage until you unthaw. No, until you thaw out. You don't unthaw. That's not the right word at all. So Lizalfos are kind of easy to deal with as well. Not with like this many together. Use the energy field to deal like... The energy field doesn't kill them in 1 hit, but if you use the energy field on them once and then latch onto them, it only takes like 1 bite of their neck to finish them off, which is very convenient. However, I did take damage because, once again, when you are latched onto a Lizalfos, you're vulnerable to other attacks. And here is the strat for defeating Dynalphos very easily. Just because I don't know if I explained it properly before, but yeah. Back away and then lunge forward, and you'll bypass their shield entirely. That's what you get for having such a long head, Dynalphos. It sticks out from behind your shield. And there's also chews in this room, but if you stay away from the middle, it won't bother you too much until you deal with the Dynalphos. And also you have to wait for the chew jelly to disappear. Okay, here we have a new enemy to the Cave of Shadows that wasn't in the Cave of Ordeals, once again. It's the Helmsaurus, which appeared in City in the Sky only. It's kind of nice to see these guys back. I feel like they're a bit underused in this game, compared to their little offspring. However, there are also several keys and several dekubabas around the room. And it's unfortunate, but I didn't manage to hit the dekubaba in time and it snapped at me. There's another 2 hearts of damage. So I'd recommend jumping to a corner where none of the Helmosaurus are, and dealing with all the keys in that area, and then trying to lure over the Helmosaurus to one side of the room, so that you're not dealing with a bunch of small enemies while you've got this big guy charging at you. The Helmosaurus only take 1 energy field to kill, like a few enemies, but if you can also use lunge attacks, and it takes 2 of them to kill. So they're slightly sturdier than their younger relative. However, I prefer using the energy field. And targeting the dekubabas is kind of annoying. I sort of found a way of dealing with them properly, though. So if you just try and use a lunge attack to deal with dekubabas, it's not very effective because Wolflink always seems to target their head and not their stem, even though you need to cut the stem to kill them. So do a lunge attack to stun them, then just hit the B button to do a regular attack, and Wolflink will just sort of spin around and cut the stem. That's just the way I found of dealing with them much easier. Also works with Barbara Serpents, obviously. Anyway, here we have some Shadow Boblins, which is kind of unique to see. But there's 2 archers on these 2 towers on one side of the room. That's kind of interesting, actually. They changed like the structure of the room, put the archers on a high up ledge. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that they mixed up the layout of the room. Okay, so here's where things get a little bit strange. So sort of in between my attempts, I sort of looked up a few floors of the Cave of Ordeals just to see what future threats might cause me any problems. And I found on a couple of sources that, I think this is floor 34, it doesn't give any enemy information for floor 34, and instead refers to this as floor 35. And I don't have any idea what's going on there. I've had a look around with my senses, I've had a little nose around, but I couldn't find anything out of the ordinary, which is very strange. In fact, I think it's Zelda Wiki as well as one of the sources. And they've got like a question mark and it says, "It's a secret to everybody," which is, of course, a reference to the original game, but I don't understand why it's there. Why is this floor 35, not 34? I'm very confused. After that, we have a floor full of Zant masks and a bit of dark fog. Not that the dark fog really matters, because we're permanently Wolflink anyway. I guess it's just there to obscure your vision. I would recommend turning your sensors on, though, because it makes it easier to see through the fog. It turns it like a pink colour. It's kind of nice to see again. And yeah, just run around the room avoiding the shots. Don't stand in one place for too long, and you should be fine. I try to take care of one Zant mask at a time, but at the same time it's not easy to tell which ones you've already hit and which ones you haven't. You can sort of tell by the order in which they teleport around which ones you've hit previously and which ones you haven't. So if you hit one 3 times and it warps away, then it'll take a little bit of time for it to reappear again. And it's like a set amount of time, so you can sort of plan your strategy around that. And past this room is once again 3 Boblin archers. You know how much I love these guys. But at this time they're accompanied by a group of goblins. But I don't find the goblins to interfere too much. It's mostly a case of not being able to target the Boblins properly. Unfortunately, the goblins do not block fire arrows, even if they're pursuing you around the room. Also, I changed my strategy up here. Instead of alternating between 2 of them, I specifically went one after the other around the room. Go for all 3, one after the other. And that was actually quite a deceptively simple room, I guess, because the next floor is the final floor. And I'm going to use my final amiibo heal here. I think it was Zelda, I saved for last. So yes, we're now at full hearts, taking on the final floor. And it might look quite simple to begin with. We've got Baba Serpents around the perimeter of the room. And we've also got 2 Dodongos in the middle of the room. But if you pay close attention, you can see something through the walls. You can target something. There's like a yellow arrow in there. So yes, this room is a bit bigger than it appears. It's also got another unique layout. Also, that was unfortunate. I tried to target the Baba Serpents and I just rammed into the wall and that threw me off and I got bitten by it. So yeah, that's not good. But yeah, this room is multiple phases. And once you've dealt with all the Dodongos, the floor slips down beneath you and reveals a bunch of bubbles and Stalkin. No Stalfos for some reason. I thought they might fit in quite well, but they didn't. Once you deal with all them, you can't climb out of the pit, by the way. But yes, once you defeat all the enemies in the pit, then Zant masks appear, 3 of them, and you just need to go around the room dealing with them. And that's unfortunate. You can accidentally target one of the enemies inside the wall, which is of course not very helpful. You can't hit them. Why would you want to target them? But if you listen quite carefully, you can hear the sound of like keys and stuff, so you get a sort of sense of what's to come in behind these walls. But I do really like this final room. It's very climactic. Now these Zant masks are kind of annoying though, teleporting all over the place. You have to go and find them again. Okay, so after dealing with all the Zant masks, all of the sides rise up, but one of the sides is slightly lower, that you can climb up here again. And we need to open each of these sections individually. And there are switches for each of them, so stand on the switch and it will reveal what's inside. In this case it's a bunch of goblins and boblins. No Bolden archers, just club boblins. So, you know, that's the much preferred option, to be honest. And get back up on the ledge and reveal behind the second one a few baby gomas and skullchillers. And once again, be careful with the baby gomas; they always hurt. And this skullchiller just decides to stay in his little room. There is like an invisible wall preventing you from going further back, so you do need to wait for the skullchiller to notice you, turn around, and then walk out, otherwise you can't hit him. I honestly thought I might have glitched the game for a minute. I wouldn't be able to get the skullchiller and like soft locked. But no, that's not a thing, I don't think. Just get the skullchiller to come out. And behind this door is 2 Dynalphos and 1 Lizalfos. Lizalfos very easy to kill once again. Energy field, followed by a lunge, and then mount its neck. And dealing with 2 Dynalphos at a time wasn't especially more difficult. You just need to be like, bite them as fast as possible and get away, so that you're not taking damage. And also I took damage there, and that's because I was too close to the wall. And when I backflipped off the Dynalphos neck, I wasn't far enough away, and I just got hit again. And I try using the energy field. I think the energy field does work, but the timing is much more specific. So yeah, I'm just gonna rely on the biting method. I find it works quite well. And then they deal with one of them after another there. And that leaves one final wall to open. And this is the one that contains Keese, but it also contains 2 Helmasaurs and another Dynalphos. So there's 3 Dynalphos on this final floor. And also I just got hit there. I did not run away fast enough at all, and he caught me and axed me down. So yeah, it's quite a lot of damage those deal. But yes, get them on their own and they're not too much of a threat. Just be strategic. And somehow I lure the 2 Helmasaurs close together. Didn't deal with that last one quite as well as the first one. But that just leaves a bunch of Keiths, which are mindlessly flying into the wall for some reason. And there we go. All the enemies are dealt with, saving the Keiths till last. Saving the hardest enemy till last, the Keiths. But yes, we made it through to the final floor, the Cave of Shadows, with the Great Fury again. Your strength has been tested, and you have been found worthy. In praise of your courage, I will give you this blessing. And our reward for completing the Cave of Shadows, in full, is the Colossal Wallet. Only in the HD version, we can now hold up to 9,999 rupees. How? How can it hold so many? But yes, that is a pretty good reward. Many on the surface cry out for someone with powers like yours. You must go back. However, after we finish talking to the Great Fairy, we are allowed to enter a new room with a statue of ourselves. That's what the Wolflink amiibo looks like, just sort of grey patterned. And there's also a 200 rupees in the chest there, just to add to our new wallet. We stand on these tiles on the floor and we can get different views of the Wolflink statue. But if we stand on the one on the right and jump up to the head of Wolflink, we can dig it up and there is a hidden 100 rupees in there. But yes, we can get different views of the statue from each of these tiles. Not that there's too much interesting to look at, it's just a statue, and unique to the HD version. So that's the thing. But yes, that is the end of the Cave of Shadows. We now have the capacity to store 9,999 rupees, which we will probably never fill, and it would have been nice to have that wallet earlier so that we weren't squandering so many rupees. I didn't set a new record for my amiibo, unfortunately, so it's going to remain with 12 hearts on it. I must admit it does feel kind of cheap to use amiibos during it, however, I don't really have the time to try and do the Cave of Shadows 4 times the damage without healing items, because that's just... it would require me to just be almost perfect, and I just don't really have the time to try that run. It would be interesting to see, but at the same time, I'm not up to the challenge. I don't think I couldn't do it without using amiibo. So there's one thing I should probably mention to do with the Wolflink amiibo, not really in Twilight Princess HD, but its compatibility between Twilight Princess HD and Breath of the Wild. You'll probably know this already, but I'll cover it regardless. So you can scan in Wolflink's amiibo into Breath of the Wild, and you'll summon Wolflink, and you can do this at any time. And there he goes. Just off chasing the deer. I'm just kidding. He walks alongside you if there's nothing nearby that distracts him. He's just a travel companion, really. And the amount of hearts that he has in Breath of the Wild is the same, which you save to the amiibo. In other words, that's your best record in the Cave of Shadows in Twilight Princess HD. Some nice cross-game compatibility going on here. And aside from being a travel companion, he goes after nearby wildlife to assist you with getting, I don't know, meat or stuff. I guess that's why I was chasing the deer in the woods. He didn't just decide to run off for no reason. No, he was chasing the deer. And he can also assist in battles, which is nice, but unfortunately there's a downside to that, and he'll go after any and all enemies that are in the vicinity, even if you're not currently engaging them in combat. So he's a bit of a hindrance in that regard. He aggroes enemies that you possibly don't want to fight. But on the plus side, it's nice to have a bit of extra damage, I guess, even if that damage isn't a lot. Yeah, he's not the strongest thing in the world, but the extra damage adds up in the end, I guess, if the Cave of Shadows has taught me anything. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I think that's everything to cover with the Wolflink amiibo and the Cave of Shadows, and the Breath of the Wild compatibility as well. So in the next bonus episode, I do believe we're going to be covering Rollgoal, the little minigame in the fishing hole, which probably won't take me half as long as the Cave of Shadows, but it's still quite an annoying thing to clear, so that'll be fun to watch. So I will see you next time for Rollgoal. Bye for now. Okay, what killed me last time? I've forgotten already. God, all my runs are blending into one another right now. This is where things get a little bit strange. It starts throwing, like, these randomly easy enemies at you. I took damage. Of course I did. As soon as I'm in the clear. As soon as I'm in the clear. But, well, oh god, I tried to backflip away, but I was too slow. Don't do it again. This is my least favourite room in all the Cave of Shadows. At least early on. At least that I've seen, because I haven't been further than floor 20. Floor 20. And, oh god, I still got hit! I can't escape all 3 of them. And now I'm taking unnecessary damage. Knock you down, and then run around for a bit. Hey, I picked up an arrow. So that's definitely going to be useful here. Okay. Oh god damn it, I couldn't approach because... Stop shooting me at point blank. Okay. Well, the Skulltula... Oh! That's weird. Normally they're like... They have like a lean back animation before they actually attack you. So that was strange. I wasn't expecting it to just instantly jut out and hit me. Go back away. Oh, he hit me! I knew that was going to happen. How the hell do you avoid that? It's best to just walk around, I think. Maybe not even target. Get back. How the hell do you avoid that? He just does it. He starts swinging instantly. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Mash, 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 mash. I'm mashing the A button. Lunge. There we go. That's how you mash out of the... Oh, that knocked me into a Deku Baba. Okay. Okay, I think I'm invincible when I'm actually using the energy, like the jump out of the energy field, so maybe I can use that to like jump through the lava. Never mind, that didn't work as I wanted. That guy's still throwing his icy spears at me. Not too much. That was weird. I killed him, but I still got frozen in the process. So I see now that these Armos each have a door behind them, so I'm guessing that... Why did that still hit me? That was nowhere near! Just keep doing a jump attack. Okay. It didn't work. It didn't work. Of course it didn't. Alright. Well. This is going to make things very awkward to edit together. Okay, and final 3. And I collided with the wall. Don't take... No! That still hit me! Oh, okay, well. First damage to bubbles. That's great. Why do I keep losing target on these guys? Like, they... That's stupid. I allowed them to get too close to me because I thought they wouldn't be able to do anything. Also, that still hit me. God damn it! What's with the silly little damage? Keeps seem to do like a backflip before doing a lunge. I don't really want to do that. And I took damage again. These stupid enemies. Like how? How the hell do you deal with them? Oh, for God's sake! I'm gonna die here, aren't I? It's Armos. It's Armos. Okay. Easy enough. Keys, could you... I don't understand... And I took damage from a torch slide, somehow, despite killing it in the process. What the... Why? Why does that happen? Oh, how am I meant to deal with all this stuff, then? Okay, I'm back down to 2 hearts, so... Whatever happens now, it's probably going to be the end. I've actually made less progress than I did the last time. And that was weird. I swear I hit the jump attack button, but I guess I wasn't close enough? Whoa, if that doesn't make you sick, what else will? Okay, but you are coming out, so I can just go behind you. What? Why did I take damage? What was that? I don't even think it was swinging his hammer. What the hell was that? That's not fair. And then you've... How do you deal with these? How, exactly? I'm taking 12 hearts of damage from this single goddamn enemy. I can't deal with the Armos. Oh, I sort of slapped my hand right onto my leg when I got hit there. It actually hurt my hand. Anyway, that's some anger problems, I don't know. No, you piece of shit! Get away from me! Okay, go back to your corner. Go on, get. Nope. Oh, that stunned me for a long, long time. God, can you just piss off? Piss off! Come on. Didn't work! For God's sake! How? How do you deal with that? As soon as you kill them, they start flailing around. Oh, every single one of my hearts I just lost in that single room from Armos. How the hell do you deal with them? Oh, I thought I didn't hit him. No! What? I was in the middle of an attack. God damn it. Okay. 2 hearts of damage, that's fine. It's not really, but you know. Oh! Triple kill! So, White Wolfos, they just pop out of the snow here, and then I can just energy field all of them at once. And that's... Oh, I missed a few, but that's okay. I'd like to actually hit the thing I'm aiming for. Damage. Unnecessary damage. I'm sliding all over the place. Okay. Okay, how many Wolfos are left? 1. No, 2. Back off. Back off. How many hits are you taking? Jesus! Oh, what the... Why is that a thing? Hit! I'm doing a quick spin! God, come on! And that's very stupid. That's extremely stupid. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? I slid into him! Oh, there's a green! There's a green! There's a green! There's a green! And it's gone. Oh, green and red makes blue, apparently. But yeah, that was a very brief green right there. Interesting. First time I've seen that, personally. Shame that it wasn't with actual Link himself, so I could bottle some of this chew jelly and show it off. But whatever, it's fine. I've confirmed its existence. I think the problem is that even if you let go of Z target, there is a little tiny period afterwards where hitting the A button will still cause you to do a lunge rather than a dash, and you don't really want to be lunging towards this guy when he's got his hammer swinging around. Also, I forgot to do the... Oh! No, get away. You can get like a couple of multi-hits on him, actually, thinking about it. Let's lure you away from the wall so I'm not, you know, jumping into you. Oh, I've lost your attention. I still got hit! I was behind you! And then I got hit again. What in the... what? What? I don't understand Amos whatsoever. Not in the slightest. That was stupid. Okay, you need to come out of that lava spout. Really. Just slither on over to me. Or I can, like, walk into you. That did 2 arts of damage. Great. 3 redem lights. That's not the target I wanted. Especially because, you know... Oh, change target, please! Get off. I'm taking too much damage from the arrows. I'm stunned. Even though he died and he sort of screwed me over in the process. No, change? No! I'm dead! I'm... too many arrows. God. Stupid. I don't really want to target you. Okay, you need to die. You need to die right now. You need to... What the hell? Why did I go right over him? Okay. Bloody annoying things going on right now. No, you're not going to scream or howl or whatever you do. I refuse it. And I missed the arrows, not that it matters too much, because I can't use them. I'm slipping around, Where's the Chillfoss? There. That's not my target, for God's sake! I was aiming right towards the bloody Chillfoss. Change target, I want the Chillfoss. Chillfoss! 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 What's with all the... Stop targeting the bloody keys! That's... No. For God's sake, I just need... Ah! That's pissing annoying! And I'm frozen again. Is there like a little backflip every time I do that? Every time I lock on. Oh, there they are. Well, that's unfortunate. Nope. I want to... Somehow I... What? So I hit the Armos with a spin attack from the front. Right, that's the thing. And then he still hit me with his hammer, so... I'm still waiting for one of them to, like, reveal ghoul rats behind it. What just hit me? Look, that's not my target. I don't want to hit the bloody Freezards. Not like this. Not like this. I refuse. Okay, that was a nice double hit. Is he going to still throw spears at me? The answer is yes. Need like approach. Okay, just a few lunge attacks. No, don't. Ah! You just take damage when you're encased in ice. Nothing I could have done there. I was trapped in ice for too long. And it killed me. Right, well that's the furthest I've gotten. Targeted wrong. Oh, for God's sake, the helmet got in my way there. Okay, that's the sort of silly damage I'm talking about. And it's not like I'm even rushing or anything, it's just circumstances just acting against me. That helmet just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it screwed me over because I couldn't get out of the way in time. If I run the perimeter of this, are there any more Stalkin? I don't think so. Let's jump in. Can I climb out again? Or am I stuck in the pit? I'm stuck in the pit. 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 No, don't freeze me. Don't freeze me. Don't freeze me. Don't freeze me. Don't burn me either. No! Why did that happen? What? Are you flipping kidding me? Are you actually shitting kidding me? Why did that happen? I was in the middle of the bloody lunge. I should have been invincible. But no, I got burnt somehow. How did I get burned? 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 Well, you know, I think I'm done for the day, because can't take much more of this, to be honest. So yeah, there's definitely something up with that final floor. God damn it, I took damage already. You know what, I'm just gonna let you slap me to death. Beat me down, boys. It's not worth me continuing, if I've already taken 4 hearts damage. I can make it through the first 5 floors perfectly fine. That was just a fluky bit there. Alright, that doesn't count as an attempt, right? No, not at all, no. Just pretend that never happened. Oh. Oh, hello. 1 remaining. There we go. Oh! You have a wider swing than I realised. No! You piece of shit! That dropped me off right in front of his hammer. Okay, that's too much damage already. Jesus, need to do it again. Yes. Okay, where's the lava? Oh, the lava stops coming up. Okay, I haven't actually spent too much time in this room, so I didn't actually notice that when you're done with the room, the lava stops coming up. That's neat. It's a nice touch. Okay, general. These won't do too much damage, so except when that happens. It's great. Okay. Emergency. Let's use a full restore amiibo. That's Zelda done. No, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Close the menu. And I just took damage again. The bloody case, though. What's going on? Okay, that's some unfortunate damage I shouldn't have taken, really. I want to target the freezer, please. Thank you. Oh. No! The thing right in front of your face, Wolflink. Hit. What the? Okay, that was the weirdest target, I think, ever. So this Keese was in front of me, but there was a Keese like miles behind me, and Wolflink decided to, you know, that's the Keese I want, not the one right in front of me. How odd. I don't get it. Okay, oh, they're sort of spreading out. Oh, that's the energy field messing up right there. Yeah, if you jump back twice in a row with Wolflink, he does a backflip on the second one and beyond that. So can you back away, buddy? Jeez, leave me alone. Yeah, give me some personal space. Jeez. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't show that off in the main playthrough, but I just thought it was a funny thing. Maybe not. I'm just stupid. Oh. That's not what I wanted to target at all. I'm taking too much damage. No! Okay, 1 Helmosaurus down, but still, that's too much damage from that room. Immediately. I can tell that I've just failed this run from that room. From Keese, again, actually, thinking about it. Hello, Keese, I see you. I took damage from something again. What's going on? I'm 1 hit away from dying now. And that's probably going to be in the final room again. That's cool. Not. Ah, this room again. Okay. And I'm dead. That was great. It was the Helmosaurus room that time. I took way too much damage for some stupid reason. I jumped in. What was I? 18 hearts when I jumped in, and then I left with like 6. So yeah, that's no good. Or was it 4 hearts? Can't remember. Either or. Not enough hearts still. Oh, bloody... It didn't work. I couldn't target the other one for some stupid reason. He ran away. And then I just ended up targeting the same one twice in a row, which doesn't work. And then another fucking... Why didn't that not... I hate Obn Archers with a passion. Okay, there's 4 hearts unnecessary damage. Neat. Not. Gonna have to grit my teeth and bear it. I'm too deep in right now. I don't think this is the run. I'm not feeling it right now. I don't think this is going to be it. Oh my god, I just did the whole almost room without taking damage. Oh my god, this might actually be the run. You know, to earn as the, you know, the one that I said I was going to fail earlier. I will admit I still have still a long way to go though. Oh, shit. I tried to move out the way. I moved into it. That's cool. Don't target the bloody case! I'm walking towards a freezard, and it hits a case, and I'm dead. Somehow. Targeting system. Busted as hell in that room. In particular. The ice rooms, for some bloody stupid reason. If it wasn't bad enough you're sliding all over the floor. What happens now? Okay, wasn't expecting that to, like, rise up. Now what? Oh, hello. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. Baby, the room's on fire. Why is everything burning? Okay, another one down. Another one bites the dust. Just a bunch of song references at this point. And if you could stop spinning around in circles, get away from the hammer. Hammer of the gods. Ah! Ah! Come to the land of the ice and snow. Don't know why that's in my head. Oh, it's the yes, the Thor Ragnarok trailer. That's why. If any of you were wondering why I was singing that Led Zeppelin. Oh, what's the song called again? God, I can't remember the name of the bloody song. It's the something song. I remember that. I nearly landed straight on top of him, but unfortunately that wouldn't count as a hit, really. They're both on like the middle tower over there, so I guess I need to climb up to see them. Come up to see me. Don't know how lovely you are. And boom. Oh, that's not right. That wasn't right. That's not what I wanted to do at all. I've been watching. I've been waiting. In the shadows, cave of shadows, sucks ass. I've been watching. I'm feeling very musical today, if you couldn't already tell. Oh, Immigrant Song, that's the Led Zeppelin thing. I just remembered. I didn't look it up or anything. Stand up, stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Alright now, alright now, alright now. Break you down, break you down, break you down. Tamashi no vision, sit down proud. I can't do that voice. Why are these crawling towards me? Normally they target me, like, Skulltula. There's nothing that way. I'm right here. Hello. I can't actually get in there. Can you come out of there? Thank you. I was a little worried then that you were like trapped in a void and I couldn't get at you. Also, can you bloody energy field? Come on. Okay, both of them down. Now it's just a bunch of keys, right? I can't die to keys. What the? That was weird. Keys done. Are we done? Please tell me you're done. Please. Where's the door? Where's the door? Are we done? We're done. Is this the end? That must be the end. That's like 4 phases. This looks like the end.
Hmm?